Welcome back to San Diego. Chris Cornell, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
I'm the only one in here clapping right now because we haven't left the audience yet. Bryan, can you tell me about Bryan first before we go much further?
This is Bryan Gibson over here to my left. He plays cello and plays piano. He plays guitar. He plays he plays mandolin now.
Is he on the new
starting a couple
single?
Days ago?
Oh,
I actually play it on the record, but fortunately for him, because I've never really played I owned the same mandolin for like 15 years or something, and this is the first time I ever used it. So if I can play if it's a part I can play, then Bryan can easily play it.
Right.
But he's played it live last couple of days and played it really well. So he plays a lot of instruments. I met Bryan a few years back when I was on tour doing the Songbook tour, which is pretty much entirely acoustic, and
right.
He guested on stage with me on a couple of things, and it was really great. So fast forward to now, when I was going to basically go do the same thing again, I thought maybe Bryan should come out and do some more of that on the whole tour. So he's doing that on the Higher Truth tour.
So tell me about the new album. Where did the inspiration come from on this? Because it's the single we have already. By the way, the album hits today, drops today, as they say.
Today,
the single reminds me of Zeppelin 3, which to me is my favorite Zeppelin album because it's the rootsier. Well,
yeah, I love that album.
It's the rootsiest album that they have. Even though it's not blues roots, it's the folk roots. So where did it come from for you for this?
Well, I think back in the day when Soundgarden first formed, I was writing songs. I picked up the guitar to write songs in the band, and it was that kind of post-punk indie, cool, just creative vibe where anybody that wants to contribute can. So you can't play guitar, so what? Let them stop anybody in the Sex Pistols, go for it. And it was a good thing, actually, because I was writing songs with no knowledge of the instrument whatsoever, so some of the stuff I was coming up with was unusual. But I also wrote songs alone, and one of the things I did was I wrote a lot of acoustic songs, because if you had like a 4-track and you wanted high fidelity, the best way to do it was not bounce tracks, which means every track is its own thing. So I would do like one acoustic guitar and then a shaker and then 2 tracks of me singing, and it would sound pretty good.
Right.
And I ended up doing a lot of songs that way, and that's when I kind of got into that type of music, which always did remind me a little bit of Led Zeppelin 3 in a way, probably because of partly the way I sing. And have been doing it ever since. And then on the third Audioslave record, Revelations, I did a promotional tour in Europe where it was just me, and they were trying to figure out, well, how do we promote the whole record, as a band with just one guy? So they put together this idea that I would do a 1-hour acoustic show at this radio station, and I did it, and it was really fun. And it got bootlegged, and a lot of people liked it. And so I decided to just start touring like that. And once I was doing it, I was kind of milling songs I've written for Audioslave, Soundgarden, Temple of the Dog, solo things that I've done, either for solo albums or for films or whatever. And somewhere in there, I thought it would be great to kind of write to it, too, to have there be new songs. And that's where Higher Truth kind of comes from. So it's a course of about 3 years writing songs for it.
Wonderful. What can we expect tonight at the show? Because obviously it's a new crack band, I'm guessing, or a band that's not on crack, but a new crack band that you've got.
Just crack. There's no band. There's no musicians. It's just a lot of crack.
It's just full-on crack at the show.
I finally got smart in my old age. Just get everybody really high. I don't even play.
So what?
Still, there's no band. It's me and sometimes me and Bryan, and that's it.
Really? That's it? So there's no band at all. So what we saw last night on Fallon was
less than that. Imagine Fallon, but less.
But way less.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's fully stripped down then.
Yes.
So we're going to actually hear the intimacy of what you were writing at the time.
Hopefully.
That's good.
Yeah.
We're going to bring the audience in a couple seconds here. Any things you remember about San Diego from the old days when you guys were coming down here? It seemed like every weekend at one point.
Well, we did do one Tijuana show, which I have to say wasn't my favorite thing. And the reason why it wasn't my favorite thing is because there was a lawlessness that didn't seem to benefit any of us or our fans. It seemed to benefit like really big guys that would beat up little guys that were trying to have fun at a punk rock show.
Right.
So The San Diego shows were a little more fun, and the two outstanding things really were like the first time coming in, seeing there's a like 737 landing in the middle of the city. That's weird. I hope that's supposed to be doing
that
what
happens
it's
in
doing.
Seattle every day.
No,
you've got 2 airports downtown.
No.
Field?
Seattle has 2 airports relatively close to each other, neither of which are
right
as
downtown.
close to the downtown area as San Diego.
We
San Diego's like a one of a kind. I think the only one that's a little bit crazier is LaGuardia, a similar thing.
Like, we have the Wright brothers.
They shouldn't have done
Not
that.
the Wright brothers. We have what's his face? Spirit of St. Louis guy. Lindbergh.
Yeah.
Because he bought his aircraft from Ryan, and then Ryan owned that field, and that field was just for little prop planes years ago.
Yeah.
It's still the same field. It's just a little bit longer now. So.
Yeah, and it's been, and I'm sure people have been complaining about it. You can't make it bigger.
You can't complain about it. Look, it's been there before anybody else has been born. That's the thing.
Exactly.
There's no 125-year-old guys there. But
I don't like flying out of it, but I usually don't have to. I just drive north. So
Exactly.
So I like the seeing the airplanes come in. That part's cool. What else? Always love it because of the singer-songwriter scene in the 70s and being a huge Tom Waits fan.
That's good. I like that.
And then my other memories, it's like sidewalk street fights virtually every time I've ever come here, no matter what.
Really?
Even as the hotels kind of went up in terms of how much they charge, that makes no difference at all.
Still street
There's
fights.
a punch-up on the sidewalk, and it starts like 7. Like a little later than now is when the first couple start happening, and then it goes on. You can hear it all night.
That's good. Well, hopefully
4 in
we
the
won't
morning.
disappoint you tonight.
It's another street.
Hopefully we won't disappoint you tonight. All right, I'm going to drag the audience in. Chris Cornell, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It is 91X.